Hello guys and welcome back to another video guide, and today we're looking at alternate recipes for creating steel motors. So the particular recipe that we're going to be looking at today is for motors. We're going to use the vanilla motor recipe, however we are going to use, instead of the normal rotor, the alternate recipe 2 that you can see down there, which is the steel rotors. This uses steel pipes and wire in order to produce rotors, very much the same as the stator, just different amounts. Now, to make this even easier for us, so that we don't need to worry about copper, we're actually going to also be using iron wire. This is another great recipe if you have lots of iron nearby. As you can see here, it uses 5 iron ingots to produce 9 wire. So we're going to be using those 2 recipes for this motor build. For this build, you're going to need 306 iron ore per minute, along with 150 coal. And to spice this guide up a little, we are going to do a time lapse at the same time, so you can see how I go about doing these builds first of all. I'll then break down what we've done on each level. So here we have the first level of our build. We have iron being produced on the left, and we have steel being produced on the right. The elevator on the right and also in the middle are both going to hold 150 resources. The one on the right will be 150 resources of coal, and in the center we will have 150 iron ore. On the left elevator we will have 156 iron ore going to the iron smelters. This iron ore goes to the 6 smelters. 5 of them are running at 100%, with 1 running at 18.5%. This produces 155.556 iron ingots per minute, which are going on to produce the iron wire. Then we have the foundries. So I'm just going to make a correction here. I was totally wrong. I don't know how I got it in my head that we needed to do all of this. Basically, what we need to do here is have 90 on one line. It's not 75, 50. 90 on one line and then 60 on the other. Sorry about that. We're just going to fix that really quickly right in front of you. So we want 90 on this line. So instead of underclocking this one, we're just going to have that as 100%. Same with this one. And so now we will have 90, let's just check that, 90 steel ingots going across this line. We don't even need this. Like so. And then for this one, we're just going to remove that, and we're going to run this line directly into here. We're going to run this one at 100% clock speed, and this one we will set to 33.333 to get that 15. So here we will have 90 and then 60 on this one. Now at this point, we're going to take the resources up on the right of this build and send it to the next section of the manufacturing. One thing that I should mention at this point is that you're going to need to use Mark III belts for this particular line for the iron ingots, because you're going to be running 156 iron ingots along here. That's the same for this elevator. And over here you're going to need at least a Mark II for the first line. And on this line it can be a Mark I, as it's only 50 steel ingots per minute that are being used. Now at this point we're going to lay the constructors for the iron wire. Now this is going to require a little bit of load balancing as well later on, but we'll talk about that shortly. We now have the steel pipes coming up this, steel ingots coming up this side, and then they're going to run along to the end here where we have 5 constructors. Unfortunately, due to the shape of the build or because of the rocks, it's slightly pushed the constructors to one side. So as you can see, the conveyors are slightly skew. I was going to do a load balance, but instead we're just running this manifold along this section. So these are all set to steel pipes at 100% clock speed. We have the 60 steel ingots which are running across this line to these 2, and then we have the 90 line running across to these 3, and then we have the steel pipes running to this one. This one has 60 steel pipes on it, and this one will have 40. In this section, it looks a little bit chaotic, but it is 13 constructors set to 12.444% clock speed. So 12 of these are running at 100%, and then we have one that is running at 44.4% clock speed. So for this section, we have 6 running at 100% clock speed for iron wire. See it here. And what this is producing is, if my maths is correct this time, 135 iron wire per minute. Now these are running along a manifold underneath to this section where there's a splitter, and what we're doing is we're using a Mark II conveyor, elevator, to limit the amount, as well as a Mark I here. This means that there's a max of 60 going along this belt and 120 here. So the idea is that this one will take priority eventually, so that we have 120 iron wire going along this line, and then we have the excess 15 going along here. On this section, we have another 7 constructors dedicated to iron wire, with this one being set to 44.444%. This allows us to have 160 wire along this line, getting ready to go to the next level here, which we'll be doing shortly. The only other thing to bear in mind is that with this build being a manifold base, that it may take longer to warm up, but eventually it will run at 100% efficiency. And you can see that we are using the beams to make the power nice and clean. That way, when we go to the build floor, everything is out the way. Now at this point, we're going to decorate the outside of the build. This is because I feel that it's going to be easier to see what we want to do with the external decoration for the upper levels at a later date, providing we already have the base of the build below as to what we're going to be doing. So we're adding windows around the whole of the corner. In fact, I want this one, now that it's back onto the straight, to mirror this. So we're going to have these chunky pillars here. Then it's going to start with a wall again. This we want to be, we could stick with metal, I suppose. The white normal basic walls for this, because it's the line where all the resources are going to go. But I would like to have here, go over to concrete. We'll place that there. We've also done a nice little bit of detailing here. It's just a little bit of added decor. I don't know whether we'll keep it or we'll change it slightly, but I'm pretty happy with that. And then finally, we need to do something here. And I think what we'll do is we'll mirror this then we'll actually come out one more. And from here, we'll add another 2 of these. This should probably be finished. So we'll use a corner there. Or maybe we'll add a staircase. I don't know. We'll look at that. Here we also want to have, let's keep with the white walls here because it's resources going up. And we'll also have a small wall there. In fact, just to make it stand out a little bit more, I'm going to run this white wall as a border here. Maybe we can do something with signs as well. I'm going to place this along here. You know what? This section, because it's bringing resources in, we're going to change this and add the road barriers. It's swapped around. Like so. Same here. And we might as well grab a beam just to cover this little grey section so that only the warning is displayed. So that will signify where the resources are coming in. On top of this, we're going to, because this is a half wall or a half foundation, the way we've set this up, what we're going to have to do is grab one of these road barriers and hopefully if we place that, we can swap this to glass and just go over it. We're going to do the same on this side as well. So, and then we're also going to build those walls. So just a little bit of extra detail there. Then I think at this point we'll close this off. With one of these. Again, maybe we can add a barrier. There. Swap this around. Just add a bit of decoration. Obviously, this also wants to be concrete. Okay, pretty happy with that. We just need to do the back now. On this outside wall section, I think we want to do like a V. And to do that, we're going to have to grab, actually it's one of these. We pull this this way back to should be able to pull that in. Hopefully now we've got a snapping point. So if we want to grab one of these to start a... Is that in the center? It is, isn't it? We now have... I've just realized we're going to have a problem with this section. It's going to come out too far. Maybe we can repeat this either side. I like how that kind of meets in the middle. And that too. I think that works. And finally, we can cover interesting. We might not be able to do this. What we might have to do is what happens if we do that? Yeah, we might have to bring this wall inside. Have it inset slightly. Okay, I'm quite happy with that for now. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something with the elevator. But for now, I'm quite happy with that. So on this floor we have 10 assemblers. 4 are dedicated to the steel rotors, 4 are dedicated to stators, and the other 2 to motors. You can see that we've used the beams to create this kind of pinned section into the cliffside, and from here we are suspending all of our power lines. It makes it look nice and clean. I did have a few issues with this build, with some of the conveyors being slightly skew-if due to, I don't know if it's being close to the cliff or due to the circle build. But if, for example, we go down here, you can see how it slightly veers off to the right. And we had problems along here as well. But what we have, coming from the steel line, we have the 40 steel pipes along this line and the 60 along here. So we've got the 40 that goes all the way across to this line, which is the stator section, rotor section, sorry. So if we check down here, you can see how we're going to be using 10 per minute. We have 40 in total, and then obviously this is the line with the 120 wire per minute, which was brought up from here. So this wire and also the 40 steel pipes create a manifold along here into the assemblers which produce the steel rotors. These are then merged on the other side and brought across to what will be another manifold for the steel motors. Over here we have the 160 iron wire that's fed into the next line of assemblers. These assemblers are producing the stators, and as you can see it runs along here, and here we have the 60 rotors, steel pipes that are running to the stator section, which you can see here. All of these assemblers are running at 100% clock speed and are then merged on the other side and then brought to this manifold where we have the 2 assemblers that are running the normal vanilla recipe of motors to produce 10 motors per minute. So at this point, I'm pretty happy with how it's come about and what it's looking like. Although it is all freehand, I'm just doing it on the huff. But I think this glass wall, though I do like it being so large, I think we can add some corner walls to it, which might just give it a little bit of extra sauce. So we're going to give that a go right now. We're just going to go straight up. So now we could cover all of this in white wall and make it a triangle, or we could just grab the other one of these, just make it, let's have a look, more of an apex decoration in there. Okay, what do we feel about that? It's an A! It's an A for the Avengers! I'm pretty happy with that, to be fair. We'll keep it like that. Not quite what I was expecting. I must admit, I'm really happy with the way these supports have turned out. What we did here was just clip. We did this same process here where you have the down ramps lining into one another. We did that, but we ended up clipping it into the side because it's on a curve. It actually looks really nice. In this section here, I wanted to break up that monotony of just using the concrete, so we added these metal walls. I'm not sure how much I like it, but I definitely felt that we needed to add beams around the outside and then paint those beams black just for it to pop a little bit more. And obviously we do have those pillars for a bit of depth. We also have the lights, and if we go down, you can see this is matched either side as well, which I really like. If I wanted to spend a bit more time on this, I might actually do more lighting using the signs, because I really does feel it just makes it stand out that little bit more. We then on top have the glass ceiling, both the little peaked one on the side, but also along the ridges there, which I really like. I feel that the overall build is slightly too chunky for the mountainside around it. Maybe we could have done with pushing that round to this section here where it could nestle in a little bit more. But overall, I am happy with how it turned out. On the bottom floor, we have the steel foundries working at full efficiency currently, and then we also have over here the iron smelters running as well. There is a little bit of a backlog because I forgot to connect one of those belts. That will clear surely enough. The downstairs definitely feels like it's the cleanest factory floor here. It's got obviously these raised manifolds, and then only the sides are being used for transporting materials. So we have this big open space, and I love using the beams. This is something that I'm going to be experimenting more with for holding the power. Perhaps maybe not bringing them down, but connecting them to the wall. On to the next level, we have obviously the steel pipes and the iron wire being produced. There is actually a problem by the looks of it upstairs with the other iron wire. Perhaps I didn't connect it. But as you can see, the manifold is slowly warming up. Those yellow lights will eventually all be green once everything's running efficiently. There we go, that's running much better. Now do let me know what you thought about the time lapses, guys. I'm certainly very interested to see if you enjoyed them, if you want me to do more, and also what video do you want me to do next when it comes to efficiency build guides. I thought this one followed quite nicely on from the Starter Factory series that we've just done, being motors, but we are using obviously alternate recipes for this one. If there is a specific guide you're down for and really want me to do, then do let me know. Anyway guys, we are going to leave it there. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our Solar Eclipse Patreons, The Calamity, Cerebral Tag, and James Irwin, as well as our Lunar Eclipse Patrons, Dixie Chris, Lord of July, and Ben. And finally, our Blood Moon of the Day, which today is Papa Snoozy. Anyway guys, until next time, as always, ciao for now.